Tonight at 9, you'll get a little taste of Italy when we check out Frontenac's Festa Italiana.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this evening. I'm Mike Mahoney. The city of Frontenac is continuing a 22-year tradition of helping out their students while celebrating their heritage. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on how this year's Festa Italiana aimed to help out local Frontenac kids.
The city of Frontenac celebrates 22 years of bridging cultures and celebrating their heritage. And they're doing this at their annual Festa Italiana.
There's German food, Italian food. There's more Italian food than anything just because that's the heritage of Frontenac, you know.
Plenty of people were gathered Saturday to taste good food and enjoy each other's company. But the event had a larger impact.
We have people who donate their time and food, and we use the money to fund scholarships. Every graduating senior from Frontenac gets a $150 scholarship every semester.
This fundraiser that's gone on for over 20 years not only helps out graduating Frontenac seniors, but all Frontenac students.
The Education Foundation was founded on scholarships, but they also help fund numerous things for the kids at school at Frontenac. We have funded anything from field trips for kids to new technology at school.
All to help Frontenac students further their education. Paul Hetze is one of the founders of the Scholarship Foundation. His niece Kay has seen the impact this scholarship foundation has had on young people in the town firsthand.
I've had 3 kids who have gotten that scholarship twice a year, all 4 years. So it is amazing and it's awesome. Of course, it impacted them financially, but it made them want to be a part of Festa and pay back.
And for former Frontenac students like Gina Coombs, being back at the event that helped her through college is like coming full circle.
This is an opportunity for me to give back to the school and the way that it helped provide tuition money every semester that you are attending college. So this was a wonderful opportunity for my family and I to give back.
In Frontenac, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
All right, it's time for a look at your first weather. And hey, Nick, I found myself using the AC during my commute today. What's going on?
Well, a little return of late summer, Mike, especially with highs pushing near 90. We only hit 89 officially, though, at Joplin Regional after we started the day at 72 degrees. We're going to trend just a hair cooler tomorrow, but big changes on the way, even though we're keeping quiet, rather, for the rest of the night ahead of us. I've got a cold front draped across central Kansas at the surface, and upstairs I got a couple upper level lows that want to add some mischief by about this time tomorrow night. It won't do anything for us, these next 2 systems on the way, for the start of the day. We'll have generally mostly sunny skies with lows around 70. We're dry for much of the day with highs around 87, but these 2 systems on the way, Mike, wants to bring in the threat for strong, even severe storms. So we'll break down those threats and the timing, and we'll break down the rest of the forecast too, coming up in a bit.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks as always, Nick Kelly. Miami's Rotary Centennial Park was the place to be this morning for both 4-staters and their 4-legged friends. Dog owners participated in a community dog walk that also featured prizes, doggy bags, and even a meet and greet with local rescue pets. This fun-filled event, also known as the Pup Strut, was put on by both Miami's Community Crisis Center and the Miami Animal Alliance. And while it was meant to be a good time for both people and pups, it was also out there sending a serious message.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and there is a really high correlation between animal abuse and domestic violence. So we partnered with Miami Animal Alliance just to kind of bring the community out and raise awareness and let people know that we think all people and pets deserve to be safe, and there's free local resources, and just encourage people with information and ways that they can get involved and ways they can reach out for help if they need it.
The event was labeled as the first annual Pup Strut, and organizers were encouraged by the decent turnout. They say they're excited about doing it all over again next year and hope they can get even more people and puppies involved. The Joplin Public Library co-hosted the 2021 Joplin Writers Fair this morning. The event featured 15 different authors from all over the 4-state area. Those writers specialized in a variety of genres and forms such as fiction, nonfiction, poetry, fantasy, and even local history, just to name a few. It also gave local residents the opportunity to meet some of their favorite local authors and even learn a bit about getting into the writing business.
Often whenever you're starting, especially with something that's arts related, people are the best resource, and so when they can connect with people who already have that experience, those people can share tips of the trade and things like that with them.
The event was postponed last year due to the pandemic. It was started back in 2017. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources awards $30,000 to the city of Jasper. The money comes from a drinking water engineering report grant to help the city evaluate water and wastewater system improvements. The grant will help the city identify drinking water system improvements that will help the city continue to meet water quality standards. In addition, it covers the engineering costs for those evaluations. It's now time for us to honor one of our many four-state heroes. And tonight, we recognize Herbert Lynn of Miami, Oklahoma. Lynn served as a private in the U.S. Army and he fought in World War II. He earned a World War II Victory Ribbon and a Good Conduct Medal, among many other honors. Thank you, sir, for your service and for fighting for freedom. For more information on all our four-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to KOAMnewsnow.com. And we'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Plus, the lava is still flowing at the active volcano in La Palma, Spain. And we've got an update from the Canary Islands right after weather.
We kept things nice and quiet again for today, but it felt like another late summer day instead of fall, which is what we should expect for early October around here. But at least we kept this view from Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri quiet throughout the entire day. It still doesn't look bad as we continue to venture deeper into the overnight hours and eventually into our Sunday, where changes will be set to roll on in. But this is what we saw throughout much of the day. Whether we have partly or mostly sunny skies, we did not have a drop of rain anywhere. But the Skywatch Storm Tracker and the radar network is going to get quite a workout by tomorrow evening for sure, with our next storm system on the way in. But as far as temperatures go, we had everybody start out in the upper 60s to lower 70s. And normally this is where highs should be at about this time of the month. But again, it felt like late summer today with temperatures ranging from the upper 80s to the lower 90s all across the board. Thankfully, throughout the course of this evening, we have seen temperatures slowly drift back into the 70s, and I still think we're set to bottom out near 70 as we continue throughout the course of the night. So even though we don't have anything immediate happening in the entire four-state region, we plot the surface map. We have our cold front working across central parts of Kansas now. That's going to be a key player that will start to come into the picture tomorrow. And a couple upper-level lows upstairs. One that prompted some severe weather in parts of the northern plains, and another one coming out of the Rockies. Both of these are continuing to push the cold front our way, and that not only will bring in the cold front for tomorrow, but a chance for strong, even severe thunderstorms. So that's why from about 400 and US 160 south, we have at least a low threat of severe weather for tomorrow. I still think the greater shots for more widespread severe weather and more potent severe weather will be deeper in the northeastern parts of Oklahoma. But from about 6 o'clock tomorrow evening until 2 o'clock going into Monday morning, that's our window of opportunity for widespread strong and severe storms, with wind, rain, and hail being the biggest issues. So let's time this out for you on the Future Track forecast. Thankfully, we got nothing to worry about as we go through the rest of the night. We'll still have a south wind at 10 to 20, but it's winds ahead of the front, not from any thunderstorms. We're going to keep things dry to start Sunday out, with overnight lows dropping back near 70. Heading into the afternoon, from the noon hour up until about 4 or 5 o'clock, we're generally going to keep much of the day dry, but you can certainly see that cold front eager to approach from the west. But 70 in the morning, 80 by noon, and an afternoon high right around 87. I think we can get there with that southwest wind during the day at 10 to 20. Look, that's trying to push 25 or 30 miles per hour. Even though we're dry for much of the afternoon, here's 7 o'clock, right along the front. Scattered showers and storms will start to fire up. And then it solidifies into a good line of thunderstorms that will work into the heart of the area tomorrow night. And I think the worst of the action will clear right out as we head toward the overnight hours. Then we just deal with scattered showers for Monday morning and even some leftover thunderstorms, and then we dry out for the rest of Monday with cooler temperatures, thankfully, behind the front. But as far as rain goes, with this system, it's like we're all fair game to pick up 1 to almost 3 inches of rain. as we get past this storm system that we'll have to wrap up the weekend with. So with the severe weather threat tomorrow, Mike, that's why I declared Sunday an alert day, even though the proper term here will be an alert evening, because that's the better shot for rain or storms. 87 tomorrow, 72 Monday, back near 80 for the middle of the week. Then it's going to feel like fall finally again with mid and upper 60s by next weekend.
Well, thanks so much, Nick Kelly. And Nick, I am once again showing footage of the La Palma volcano, but that's just because it's amazing footage. Molten lava is still pouring out of the La Palma volcano in the Canary Islands, filling the sky with acrid smoke. The volcanic eruptions have been going on for 3 weeks now. Although the volcano had recently settled down, scientists say it's unpredictable. The eruptions have forced the evacuations of more than 6,000 people and destroyed more than 600 houses. Last month, the volcano's ash cloud forced authorities to temporarily close the La Palma airport. Officials say prompt evacuations helped avoid casualties. Fortunately, most of the 85,000 people who live on the island off the coast of Africa have not been affected. When we return, the U.S. and Mexico are teaming up to tackle drug smuggling in a new way.
The U.S. and Mexico announced a partnership in an effort to stop the flow of guns and drugs from coming across our southern border. I'm Bill Malugin in Texas. That story coming up.
The U.S. and Mexico hit the reset button on both countries' efforts to stop drug trafficking. Deaths in the United States from fentanyl smuggled across the border have soared in recent years. The newly announced partnership aims to overhaul the way both countries approach the opioid crisis. Fox News' Bill Malugin has the latest.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Mexico City on Friday, standing alongside his Mexican counterpart to unveil a new security initiative. It's aimed at stemming the flow of drugs, guns, and illegal immigration across the southern border.
It is rooted in the idea that we have a shared responsibility as neighbors and as partners to improve security for the people of our nations.
The new framework will prioritize addressing the opioid epidemic and its effect on public health. The U.S. will devote more resources to help people addicted to opioids and to stop the smuggling of guns into Mexico.
Many of the illicit weapons in this country come from the United States, and we're committed to deepening our collaboration on arms tracing, on investigations, on prosecutions to disrupt this supply.
Mexico, on its part, will aim to stop shipments of the chemicals used to make synthetic drugs like fentanyl from making their way across the border. Mexican authorities seized 1.3 tons of fentanyl in 2020. The same year, the U.S. recorded more than 93,000 deaths related to drug overdoses. Mexico's foreign minister says the country must also work harder to keep young people from joining up with the cartels.
We know that it's not going to be enough to just detain or capture some drug lords. We have to be concerned with addiction, with providing youths with employment opportunities, because if not, they resort to crime.
And it could end up taking several months for both sides to end up hammering out all the details, though they hope to have a final plan ready by January. Reporting in La Jolla, Texas, Bill Malugin, Fox News.
We're not done hearing from Fox News' Bill Malugin. He also brings us an up-close look at the Texas National Guard as they tangle with cartel smugglers bringing hundreds of migrants across the Rio Grande. Take a look.
It's too easy to get across right there.
It's Thursday evening in Roma, Texas, and we're embedded with the Texas National Guard in one of the most active cartel hotspots all along the border.
And when you're looking with thermals over there, it looked like Christmas. I mean, it's all lit up. Yeah.
While the sun was still up, we began seeing smugglers bringing illegal immigrants across the Rio Grande on rafts. Some were turned back by National Guard soldiers at the shoreline. As night fell, the smugglers and the rafts started coming non-stop, over and over again, full of illegal immigrants, with more than 100 others waiting on the Mexican shoreline. The smugglers in a playful mood, with no fear, telling us they are raking in the money. They unloaded hundreds of migrants, mostly family units from Nicaragua. One man telling us he paid $12,000 to get his family across. It's a scene that plays out in Roma every single night. And directly across from us here in Roma is the Mexican city of Ciudad Miguel Alemán. It is an absolute hotbed of cartel activity with frequent gun battles between the Gulf Cartel and the Northeast Cartel, always fighting for control of this city and its prime location for both drug smuggling as well as human smuggling. National Guard soldiers gave us this video showing smoke billowing from the city 2 days ago after they heard gunfire and explosions from a cartel gunfight.
Oh, shoot.
Last night in Roma, we witnessed tracer rounds from a suspected cartel machine gun being fired from Mexico into the United States. The soldiers telling us the rounds went over one of their observation posts. The circumstances behind the gunfire are unknown.
More than 600 Central American migrants were discovered by Mexican authorities near the U.S.-Mexico border this week. 652 migrants were found packed into 6 trailers after the trucks carrying them attempted to pass through a Mexican military checkpoint on Thursday night. More than 550 of the migrants were from Guatemala. Others were from Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Belize. According to authorities, more than half of the migrants were children, and nearly 200 of them were unaccompanied by an adult. Right after this short break, we are taking a look at the state of the U.S. economy, and a lot of lawmakers have a lot of different opinions about it.
President Biden says the country is making great progress. I'm Chad Pergram in Washington with more on why not everyone agrees. That's coming up.
Welcome back to your News at 9. Former President Trump's company lost more than $70 million on his luxury hotel in Washington, D.C. during the 4 years Trump was in office. The Trump Organization sustained the loss despite taking in more than $3.5 million from foreign governments. Ethics experts say the former chief executive should have refused that money because accepting it posed a conflict of interest with his role as president. The House Committee on Oversight and Reform says the hotel, which is located just a few blocks from the White House, was struggling so much that the Trump Organization had to prop it up with $27 million from other parts of its business holdings. The committee also says Trump's company got preferential treatment from a major lender to delay payments on a $170 million loan. In a statement, the Trump Organization said the findings of the Democrat-led committee were misleading and false. The Trump Organization also says it received no special treatment from a lender. After a tumultuous week in Washington and on Wall Street, President Biden returned home to Delaware saying the country is making great progress. Fox News' Chad Pergram is in Washington with more on why not everyone agrees with that.
Stocks closed slightly lower Friday after the latest monthly jobs report came up short. The economy added just 194,000 jobs compared with the projected 500,000. President Biden, ahead of his return home to Wilmington, Delaware, weighed in, voicing optimism the U.S. economy is still headed in the right direction.
Right now, things in Washington, as you all know, are awfully noisy. Turn on the news and every conversation is a confrontation. Every disagreement is a crisis. But when you take a step back and look at what's happening, we're actually making real progress.
The White House pointed to this week's efforts on Capitol Hill.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 48.
Senators ended a standoff approving a short-term increase of the debt ceiling.
This is a process. There can be ups and downs in the process.
But not all Republicans agree the process is working in the country's favor.
We have a debt ceiling for a reason.
And say increased federal spending and the president's proposed multi-trillion-dollar social policy package are just too much.
Small businesses, even some of the large corporations that I'm talking to out there, everyone is afraid of the hammer that is going to drop.
Increasing the debt ceiling still requires approval from the House of Representatives, scheduled to convene on Tuesday. In Washington, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Business analysts are confirming what many of us already know. The price of oil is way up. In fact, oil prices have spiked a whopping 60% so far this year. Analysts say that's because of the demand for fuel has rebounded at a time when supplies are tight. And there's no sign the situation will improve anytime soon. On Thursday, the Department of Energy said it has no immediate plans to take action to alleviate skyrocketing prices. Natural gas and coal are also more costly. That's being blamed on an upswing in demand for energy from Europe and Asia. The days of struggling to find toilet paper and other essentials like we experienced at the start of the pandemic may be returning. A supply chain crisis is forcing some stores to set limits on how much customers can buy. Fox News' Jonathan Hunt reports from the Port of Los Angeles.
Almost half of all cargo coming into the United States via sea arrives at the twin ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. But right now, billions of dollars worth of that cargo, be it electronic goods, sneakers or canned food, are floating outside the port aboard some 60 vast container ships being forced to wait an unprecedented 10 days to dock.
It's like bringing 10 lanes of freeway traffic into 5 right here at the port.
Supply and demand is not the problem. Americans are buying things in record numbers. China and other Asian nations are making things in record numbers.
It's more cargo than we've ever seen in our lifetime.
But there simply aren't enough truck drivers to get goods to American store shelves. And the domino effect means the cargo containers can't offload, so they sit in dock and the backups outside the port get longer.
Folks have to rise to the occasion, flex capacity and their workforces to move cargo out.
Firefighter. The cargo crisis is turning Halloween shopping into a horror show for tens of millions of Americans. Some stores are reintroducing pandemic-era buying limits, and holiday gift shopping will be impacted too.
Our message right now is get out, and if you see something that your child has on his or her list, pick it up now to make sure you have it for the holidays.
Without offering specifics, the White House said today President Biden is doing everything he can to tackle the crisis.
There are a range of issues the point is, we're working to address them on several paths and on several fronts, and I can't make a prediction of when it will be concluded. It is just a top priority of the president.
And to give you an idea of the scale, each of the container ships floating outside the port could carry something like 120 million pairs of sneakers or 700 million cans of beans. That's how much cargo is waiting outside this port right now. At the Port of Los Angeles, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
And we'll be right back with more news. Today, emergency workers from England rescued a newborn baby who had traveled for 9 hours across the English Channel. The baby girl and her mother arrived in a dinghy on the shore of Dungeness with a group of migrants. A police officer wrapped the infant in a blanket after she was handed over by a crew member with the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. Migrants have long used northern France as a launching point to reach Britain by stowing away in trucks, on ferries, and in dinghies and other small boats provided by smugglers. The British government and the French government have worked for years to bring a halt to the journeys without much success. Well, stay right there. We have got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another look at your weather with meteorologist Nick Kelly and your KOAM Sports Report with Sports Director Jacob Leonard. That's all coming up right here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And still to come, you'll learn why the cost of coronavirus care is going up. That story and more are next. As access to vaccines continues to grow across the U.S., many insurance companies are canceling COVID-19 cost-sharing waivers. That means medical bills for COVID-19 patients are about to increase, and they will be left to foot expensive hospital bills. An analysis from the Kaiser Family Foundation found that 72% of health insurance plans are no longer waiving out-of-pocket coronavirus treatment costs. The foundation estimates that the average out-of-pocket cost for COVID-19 care is $1,300. Working from home during the coronavirus pandemic may be keeping workers from moving on up, according to a survey. Talent platform Beamery says 48% of the 5,000 workers they surveyed feel growth at work has been hampered by the pandemic. Many blame reduced face time with their bosses. The survey says white-collar workers who enjoyed less commutes and even took pay cuts felt it hurt them in their 5-year plans. 66% of Gen Z workers reported that remote work has hurt their careers. The survey was conducted between August and September of this year. We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Don't go anywhere.
It was nice to keep things quiet for this Saturday, but our main focus for the next 3 minutes or so was going to be the big changes on the way for Sunday, which unfortunately means a shopper strong and even severe storms on the way. But the shot that we had throughout the evening from indigo sky outside of Seneca, Missouri has been pretty quiet, and we kept things pretty quiet throughout the course of the day, even outside of Seneca, Missouri. Granted, at times we had quite a bit of cloud cover, certainly to start the day out, but with partly to mostly sunny skies, we did not have a drop of rain anywhere across the region. But this is going to start to get quite a workout as we wrap up the weekend, and certainly by tomorrow evening and certainly tomorrow night going into Monday morning. So let's focus on that system right now, because even though we don't have anything immediate happening across the 4-state region, here's the surface map, and there's our frontal boundary draped across the central part of Kansas from northeast to southwest. That's one big feature with the storm system coming into play, and ahead of it, that's why we had a good southwest wind to push highs in the upper 80s to near 90 today. Upstairs, these two upper level lows. We've got one in the Dakotas, prompting severe weather this evening, and another one coming out of the Rockies. Those two upper level lows will help to push the front along, and with additional lift upstairs, that is unfortunately going to set us up for a shot for strong and even severe storms as we go deeper into tomorrow evening and certainly heading into the overnight for Monday morning. Along and south of US 400 and even, let's say, from Jasper down south, that's going to be our best shot for a low severe threat. I still think the better shot for any widespread and potent severe weather is going to remain out in northeastern and central Oklahoma, closer to Tulsa and Green Country. 6 in the evening until 2 o'clock Monday morning. That's our window of opportunity for any strong and severe storms with damaging winds, some large hail, and definitely some heavy rain. We're keeping the tornado threat pretty low, and I think the greater tornado threat is going to be deeper into central and southwestern Oklahoma. But in terms of the overnight, as we time everything out, we're keeping quiet. Even though the south wind will still be up there at 10 to 20, it'll still keep us dry with overnight lows dropping back near 70. Heading toward the afternoon tomorrow, here's the noon hour. You can see we're still ahead of the cold front, so we'll be near 80 to start the afternoon out. And I think we can push highs actually into the mid and even a couple of upper 80s ahead of that cold front. In terms of what I think the planner will look like, 70 in the morning, 80 by noon, highs are 87. And you can see how I think for much of the day we'll keep things dry. But once we hit 5, 6, and certainly 7 o'clock here, we'll definitely notice an uptick in thunderstorms along the cold front as it starts working in. And then we got a mess of thunderstorms along the cold front. And certainly some of these will be strong to severe. And I think the worst of the action, though, will be out of here by 2 a.m. as we go into Monday. We'll still have to deal with some rain and thunderstorms to start the Monday morning commute back to work and school, but we'll be drying out throughout the course of the day, and not to mention a good drop in temperatures behind the front. As far as rain goes, nothing until we hit tomorrow evening and through Monday morning, and even then, maybe 1 to 3 inches with this first system on the way in. Once that clears out, we've got yet another system that will come in here late Tuesday and into Wednesday. This could bring some more strong and possibly severe storms, so it's going to be kind of an active start to the week ahead of us, but this will help us out with temperatures. We'll go 87 tomorrow, 72 on Monday, near 80 Tuesday through Thursday, and then with one more system on Friday, we will have temperatures back in the upper 60s. But Mike, one key takeaway here, we're keeping Sunday as an alert day for the strong and severe storms that we'll keep an eye on for tomorrow evening and tomorrow night.
Well, thanks again, Nick. And hey, check this out, Nick. If you are a man and want to maximize your exercise, you might not have to get up at the crack of dawn. A new study shows the best results from workouts are achieved when they happen between 1 and 6 p.m. Researchers say participants who exercised in the afternoon experienced more metabolic benefits compared to the participants who exercised in the morning. However, the study only looked at men who are already diagnosed or at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. Well, stay tuned, sports fans. We'll be right back with Jacob Leonard and your KOAM News at 9 Sports Report.
This week is week 6 for MIAA football. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas enter this weekend on a 3-game winning streak, setting at 4-1 through 5 games. Now, tonight they have a big one, hitting the road to face Northwest Missouri State. And Northwest is undefeated, ranked number 2 in the nation coming into the day. The Gorillas get off to a good start. Max Sexton finds Kaiser Newell across the middle. 20 yards there for 6. PSU on top early. That's 10-0 now in the second. Pitt makes a play on defense. Jordan Hindy picks off the pass. Then check this out. Right before half, Cross Holmes nails a 53-yard field goal for the Gorillas. They go to break up 13. Now, second half, more defense. The pass is tipped. Webb City product Alex Gaskill comes down with it. Sets up another field goal to put Pitt State up 16-0. But here comes Northwest Missouri. Mike Hohensee deep to Caden Davis. One of his 3 touchdown passes in the second half. Northwest rallies to squeak by Pittsburgh State tonight, 20-19. Missouri Southern also on the road today. They're in Jeff City facing Lincoln. Nathan Glades, the Joplin High School product, gets the first score of the day from 2 yards out. Southern really good offensively early. Dawson Hurl goes to Brian Boyd. Boyd breaks 1 tackle, then slips another, then 1 more. The Lions go up 24-0. Boyd scores 3 touchdowns today. Southern finishes the job. Jeremy Brown, 8-yard touchdown here. 567 yards of offense today for the Lions. Southern wins big over Lincoln, 52-32. Not really sure how to do this one in 30 to 45 seconds. Oklahoma and Texas today. First play, Casey Thompson to Xavier Worthy. Texas goes up 35-17 in the second quarter. Oklahoma actually benches the starting quarterback Spencer Rattler. Then in the third, his replacement Caleb Williams picks it up, finds Marvin Mims for the 14-yard touchdown. Oklahoma trying to stay in. And then in the fourth, Kennedy Brooks, direct snap. He will go 18 yards for the touchdown. Oklahoma has its first lead at 48-41. Texas ties it up. Sooners get the ball back with one more chance in regulation. Less than 10 seconds left. It's Brooks again off the direct snap. Oklahoma overcomes a 21-point deficit. They stay unbeaten, winning 55-48. The Independence Pirates are 5-0 to start the football season and are ranked number 3 in the nation. Now today, the Pirates have a big one against 13th ranked and defending national champion Hutchinson. The Pirates down 21-7 in the second half. Wallace Melton gets the interception for Indy. Good field position for the Pirates, and they take advantage. Deontay Wilson, he had a huge day. Across the middle here for the 25-yard touchdown. Pirates within 7. Now in the fourth, they're back down 28-17. Tyreek Starks to Deontay Wilson. Another touchdown has Indy within one possession. Now check this out. Under 15 seconds to go. Last chance for the Pirates, and guess who? Starks to Wilson. Gets loose for the 53-yard score. That was the game winner with 6 seconds left. Independence stuns the reigning champs today 33-28 to get to 6-0 on the season. To Fort Scott now, it's homecoming for the Greyhounds against RPA College. Early on, MJ Fuller takes the handoff. He'll get across for the first points of the game. Greyhounds on top. And the Wildcats ball now. Fort Scott gets a play on defense. Zach Switzer there for the INT. Later in the drive, Reagan Davenport sees Reese Thomas downfield. Thomas takes it in. That will put the home team up double digits in the first. And they would keep rolling. Davenport rolls out. This time finds Weston Ropp in the end zone. It's 24-0 in the second. Fort Scott wins in a shutout today, 43-0. The Pittsburgh State track and field program put in some work today in Pittsburgh, but not on the track. Our own Danny Terzer has more.
The Pittsburgh State track and field team spent the day at the Salvation Army.
Giving back also makes you just feel good about what you have and about helping people get better and where they're at in life right now. People around our age normally forgets like it is other people out there that doesn't have it as well as others.
The team was put to work making Christmas gift bags full of toys and school supplies.
Knowing that they're going to be taken care of and receive something special, even if it's not something great as what other kids get, I feel like the whole meaning of what's behind it is what makes it so special.
The gifts will be distributed to an estimated 1,200 children across Crawford County.
I actually have a daughter at home. Knowing if I was in getting a Christmas gifts from the Salvation Army or something, knowing that I don't have a whole lot would mean a whole lot to me, a whole lot to my kid, and a whole lot to my family. So I feel it's a really, really good thing that they got going on here.
Just a smile on their face is just enough to just know like you just did enough just to make somebody happy within that moment.
The team is focused on creating a positive relationship with the Pittsburgh community.
The more we get out, the more that we'll get back from the community, as in them coming to our meets and supporting us in any way that they can. Just having the crowd there can get us pumped up, knowing that we have the crowd behind us. Gives us more of that just energy that we need.
Community definitely comes out and supports and shows out for us. It's way more exciting. You have groups of people coming in and they're there watching you every race and every step of the way. It just makes you go a little harder.
In Pittsburgh, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
To softball now, final day of the Carthage Invite. Tigers finish up against McDonald County. J.C. Franken, RBI double in the top of the first. McDonald County grabs the early lead. They would get more in the second. Carly Cooper, runners on first and second, back up the middle. Scores a run. The runner from first, though, going to end up being thrown out at third. On the circle for Carthage, Jensen Elder trying to keep her team in striking distance, gets the strikeout there, but McDonald County shuts down Carthage at the plate, going on to win 5-0. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
A new report by the Pew Research Center finds that fewer people are tying the knot, but those who do are better off financially. The survey analyzed data from the U.S. Census. It says single adults are more likely to be out of work or earning less than their married counterparts. Pew also says although more people are living together, the number is not high enough to offset what's been a consistent drop in the number of people getting married. In fact, Pew says a record number of adults between ages 25 and 54 are single. We are not done yet with your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, we are checking out all the fun, costumes, and more at New York City's Comic-Con. It's back after being previously canceled by the coronavirus. That story and more are next. Welcome back to your News at 9. After being canceled by the coronavirus last year, Comic-Con is back in the Big Apple. And this year, it's got a real treat for fans of the original Star Trek series. Fox News' Richard Giacobis checks it out.
For many months, it was the place to come and get your shot. But tonight, the Javits Center transforms back into a world of fantasy.
Nice to meet ya.
They came in their best Harley Quinn. Pokemon made an appearance, and some even captured their innermost Spider-Man.
It's kind of what I imagine one room in my house to be like.
Welcome to New York Comic-Con 2021. The annual gathering of superheroes and villains was canceled last October due to COVID, but this weekend, the Force is finally back at Comic-Con.
Feels fantastic. I'm getting so many compliments. It feels so good.
The newly expanded Javits Center is packed with every comic book, lithograph, and costume as far as the eye could see.
This is the Wrath of Khan Spock.
People are excited to be back, and I think it's even elevated because it's been so long since we've all seen each other.
There are also a number of legendary celebrity guests here all weekend, taking pictures and signing photographs with fans. The biggest draw, 2 Star Trek originals from the 1966 series. William Shatner, who is set to become the oldest person to blast off into space next week, and George Takei, who tells us how great it is to be back at one of his favorite events of the year, with a fully vaccinated group of fans.
That's what civilization and being a human being is all about. And so we want to get people to be thoughtful, generous, and healthy, and live long and prosper.
So whether you're into George, Bill, DC, anime, Marvel, whatever comic of your choice, Comic-Con here at the Javits Center runs now through Sunday. Limited tickets available, proof of vaccination, and masks required. I mean, you'll be in the final frontier. I had to get that in.
All right, here's a great story to end the show on. A French zoo said hello to its latest addition, a baby rhino named Mossel. The baby white rhino was born to mother Tala on Wednesday. Within an hour of birth, Mossel uprighted itself and headed over to a continental breakfast of hay. Mossel is Tala's 3rd offspring, and Tala is described as a gentle and guiding mom. Southern white rhinos now number in the 18,000 and in protected areas of the African continent. Well, thanks so much for stopping by on this Saturday night. We'll see you tomorrow for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Have a great night. Stay safe out there.